Hashtag how to run for Polemarch.
Lecture 4, February 21st. Greek Politics and Democracy. There was a census taken in the United States in 1910 where a 21% population increase would record our national number at 92,228,496. In the previous decade there was also seen the same 21% population increase where the center of the population in the nation was in 1910 within the boundaries of Bloomington, Indiana. But with that much being said and everything else we've covered until now, we can't help but wonder where these 10 young men fit in the larger scope of the world in 1911. Well, Mayor John Harris was running the city as the school opened for the first day of the fall semester and 10 young men would found the structure of what flourishes today. The governor of the state of Indiana at that time was a Democrat named Thomas Riley Marshall who would later become vice president under Woodrow Wilson. William Howard Taft was president of the United States who is named for Howard University. Saint Pius X was Pope of the Holy See, while George V was king of the United Kingdom and its empire hailing from the house of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. Similarly, though not quite, George I in 1911 was king of the Hellenes in Greece, but who are they to us, and why are they in this discussion? They are contemporaries of our illustrious founder and first Polemarch, Elder Watson Diggs, where ensuring domestic tranquility this new smaller arena which caters to colleges and universities may not be a city or state, but it certainly is a community blooming from a dream. As we are not biologically Greek, we have to argue that technically neither are we, for the most part, English, but we pledged adopting our Greek ideology with our English being more so an involuntary political acquisition. Some may say that we don't seem Greek at all as we look and sound much different from those we typically consider biologically or at least geographically Grecian. But we can't reiterate enough that brotherhood has nothing to do with appearances or rating members considering the value of their haberdasheries, cars, or houses. The Polemarch's jurisdiction primarily in its training for leadership encounters students who, if economics was to determine admission, there is no way we could maintain anything close to the standard of excellence we produce now. It is just always a little easier when candidates, friends, strangers or whomever that comes to any table is comfortable in their finances. That's not necessarily Greek or English but more so practical and an individual achievement to have the maturity to manage however much or little one has been afforded. Likewise hunger is neither necessarily either of the two, but one type fuels the stomach while the other is the desire in us all to achieve. That will to achieve is neither English nor Greek, but through them we use it to advance the world in our respective fields of concentration. Adoption of a Greek distinction. Our Greco-American heritage is derived from the founders whose inspiration lead us to this day and for surely indefinitely many years to come. So, we don't have to be biologically or linguistically Greek to study Grecian culture and distinguish ourselves as such in the interest of perfecting as much as we may a healthy and prosperous existence under our own political arena where the Polemarch is the chief executive officer in our bond. As the most significant political move the vast majority of the body may make being mustering the courage to pledge, candidates know then that their destiny will be intertwined with line brothers on their ship and sands of the cluster from far away. The opened invitation to apply comes with requirements that are not always readily available, but in training candidates for leadership those preferred may find easier roads, because this is not equal opportunity employment. We don't owe candidates attracted to our program anything except the truth about the fraternity. Everything else is charity work. Our bond of fraternity attracts those with the potential to be better, more advanced, technological, scientific, and artistic, for the benefit of the brotherhood. As we, if we do it right, become the foundations from which those newly initiated may reach higher heights. Hindering progress of younger candidates or members is too close to hazing and far from any objective. We don't feel like going through the civil rights struggle again. We just refer to Ralph Abernathy or the other African American with all the statues. We expect those younger to surpass us and are disappointed when they don't, but the pledge is a political favor we extend to candidates to better the bond. Communicating primarily in English, we fall under that jurisdiction, so being democratic we can't reflect unorthodox behavior to those who are not children but may be as impressionable as others know so little of this generally secretive organization where first after witnessing the fraternity is the knowledge of our order, education becomes a priority. We are by default English, and by choice Greek where in an army the squad would require a staff sergeant, but in our case the staff is a Pole and the title, Polemarch. Without the proper order candidates, observers, and even passers-by may not receive the proper education and orientation or protocol concerning our small community and could do us more harm than good. Some things are just business where economics is the measure of all, but there are categories, dialects, spices, French Fall 2022 colors from Mossberg and so on where structural engineers find value in interior design. This English socialist movement in America keeps the topic of crimson drapes in the air, so as to make it more real the more it is repeated, forces the issue of crimson drapes, but that is only when democracy proves to override structure. Or should we say culture trumps tradition as opposed to the other way around which will be discussed later in the anthology. Politics and democracy in our small area of the world is the closest thing to sovereignty most will ever approach. We claim schools and cities while presiding over provinces at the pleasure of the Grand Polemarch. During our infancy so little was established but the same secret pledge we have today, to keep the dream of Elder Watson Diggs alive in the memory of our founders in our day-to-day behavior.